Most business books out there try to sell you some kind of secret formula for success. But what happens when there is no formula? Well, today, we're diving into Ben Horowitz's The Hard Thing About Hard Things, which is basically a survival guide for leaders navigating the brutal realities that most business books are just too afraid to touch.
And bam, with that one line, Horowitz just rips up the entire leadership playbook. See, this isn't about feel-good motivational quotes. Oh no. This is about the gut-wrenching, awful reality you face when the dream shatters, and you're the one who's left to pick up all the pieces. And see, the thing about Horowitz is, he's not some academic living in an ivory tower. This is a guy who co-founded Opsware and sold it to HP for $1.6 billion, but only after going through near bankruptcies and just constant, relentless crisis. So this book, it's not theory. It's scar tissue. It's a field manual written from deep inside the trenches.
All right, so what does he actually mean by hard things? It's a really simple question, but the answer is messy.
I mean, really think about it for a second. There is no recipe for firing a loyal executive who just isn't cutting it anymore. There's no magic formula for telling your entire team that you're about to miss payroll. These are the moments that truly define a leader, and they're exactly what all those standard management books just completely ignore. So at the very heart of all these hard things is this state of being that Horowitz calls simply the struggle. And believe me, if you've ever led anything in your life, you know this feeling deep in your bones.
And let's be clear, this isn't just having a bad quarter. The struggle is a psychological vortex where the weight of responsibility feels like it's physically crushing you. It's that 3 a.m. moment where you're not just worried about payroll anymore. You are convinced you're a complete fraud who has failed every single person who ever believed in you. And you know the worst part? Even though every great leader goes through it, it feels like you're completely and utterly alone.
Horowitz describes the struggle in this really visceral way. The pressure gets so intense that basic things, like even the taste of food, just vanish. And then your own employees start to see you as the problem. They're whispering that you're in way over your head, and all that external doubt starts to creep in and infect your internal reality. You look in the mirror, and you don't see a leader anymore. You see a failure. This is the bottom. And surviving this deeply personal crisis is the first and most critical part of the job. So how in the world do you fight your way out of the struggle? Well, Horowitz argues the very first step is to correctly diagnose your reality. You have to recognize what kind of leader the moment truly demands. Are you a peacetime CEO or are you a wartime CEO? Wartime is when the company's very life is on the line. Maybe the market collapsed, or a competitor is just eating your lunch, or your funding has completely dried up. In these moments, only one thing matters: survival. Now, what's so fascinating about this is just the brutal honesty of the contrast. Okay, a peacetime CEO, they focus on the big picture, they empower people, they build a great culture. But their wartime CEO, as Horowitz puts it, they care about a speck of dust on a cat's ass if it interferes with the prime directive. Peacetime is all about getting buy-in. Wartime is about giving commands. The crucial point here is that using the wrong leadership style for the situation you're in, that can be absolutely fatal. Okay, so you've identified that it's wartime. What now? Well, Horowitz gives us a survival kit, a set of really practical, even brutal rules for what you should do, and maybe even more importantly, what you should not do. Now, this isn't some simple checklist. It's a series of paradoxes you have to navigate. Take that first one, that delicate balance of taking things personally. You can't be so detached that you lose your passion, but you also can't let failure emotionally cripple you. You have to reject the easy excuses for why you're failing. And you absolutely must resist the urge to be a cheerleader. False positivity when the ship is sinking will destroy trust faster than absolutely anything. And finally, you can't do it alone. Trying to shoulder the entire burden yourself is a one-way ticket to burnout and failure. And here's the flip side, the offensive playbook. This is what you must do. Standard procedures, forget about them. They get thrown out if they slow you down, because survival is way more important than protocol. Company culture, it's not about ping pong tables anymore. It's forged in the shared struggle to win. Every single action has to be relentlessly focused on the mission. And that last one, tell it like it is, that's the foundation of everything. No sugarcoating, just the brutal facts and the plan to fight back. All of these tactics, the wartime mindset, the checklist, they are all absolutely critical. But Horowitz argues they are all secondary to mastering the single most difficult skill of any leader: This is it. This is the whole ballgame. Because when you're in the struggle, when you're at war, the biggest, most important battles are always fought inside your own head. The pressure, the loneliness, the crushing self-doubt, if you can't manage that, no strategy in the world is going to save you. And in the end, it all just boils down to this. When Horowitz asked successful CEOs how they actually did it, they didn't point to some brilliant strategic move or a genius hire. Nope. They pointed to their own resilience. They faced the pain, the cold sweats, the absolute torture, and they just didn't quit.
And that's really the ultimate lesson of this book. Leadership isn't about making a series of great, obvious choices. It's about what you do when all the choices are bad, when there's no easy answer, and you still have to find a way forward. So I'll leave you with that. What move will you make?